The following confession is part of a larger video I'm putting out later this week. The story can be its own standalone video. So here it is as a preview. It may be disturbing to some. Consider yourself warned. We'll link to the full video once it's out this Friday. Enjoy. r/confession. I physically and emotionally abused my ex-girlfriend. Throwaway account. I deserve hate for this. This is a very long story, so I'm cutting out a lot of somewhat important parts. To get this out of the way, we are both girls. We met when I was 17, and she was 18. We became close friends almost immediately, spending all of our time together. We started dating a few months later, after realizing our feelings were mutual. She had a car and a job, I had neither. She would pay for me almost every time we did anything. This will be important later. Now, the first year or so was pretty good. I was somewhat stable on my medication. I'm bipolar. She was doing alright with her mental illness. We hardly ever fought. We generally had a very healthy relationship. Maybe some codependency problems. We were living at my mom's house. I still didn't have a job or a car. Then, very stupidly, a decision I regret for even more reasons than this, I decided to go off my medication. We started to fight more. A lot more. About stupid shiz that didn't matter. See, she was really messy, and I was very neat, so it bothered me a lot. I would get annoyed when I would see a mess she made. I started calling her lazy, and generally just demeaning her. The order of events is pretty jumbled, since I try to push this to the back of my brain, but I'll try to keep it cohesive. At some point we moved in with her dad. Our fights started escalating into screaming matches. I really can't express in words how meaningless these fights were. I don't remember what any of them were about. I had such a short fuse that now she had started to get annoyed with me about small things as well. It was a cycle we created for ourselves. Well, mostly my fault, if not entirely. We still had extreme codependency problems. I had suggested moving back to my mom's house on my own a couple times and she really didn't want me to go, despite her literally paying for everything I did. I didn't really want to leave either. We were pretty much obsessed with each other. I tried to get a couple jobs during this time, but quit after just a few days due to severe anxiety and panic attacks. I started getting really into drugs, psychedelics, scripts, RCs, you put it in front of me, and I did it. I also started to kind of go back on my medication, and by that I mean I skipped all my therapy appointments and took my medication maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week. I really like to think these factors contributed to my deteriorated mental state during this time, and that I would never be this person in my right, medicated mind. I got a job a couple months later, where else but a popular fast food chain. I was making shiz money, of course. She would still pay for me for everything, and I would save the money I got and spend it on stupid stuff, like clothes and jewelry. I rarely ever bought her anything. All her money was going to both of us, and all my money was going to just me. So fornicating stupid and selfish I was. We would be fighting about the most stupid, random shiz in the world, start screaming at each other, of course. I remember this overwhelming feeling, like little pinpricks all over my body, like the blood in my brain is boiling and is going to explode at any minute if I don't just react. I would shift her moving, driving car into park, sometimes on the freeway. If we were having an argument, I would spill drinks in her car. This feeling I got when we were screaming at each other, saying horrible things to each other, I didn't know what else to do in that moment other than physically react. I cannot stress how out of control I felt. Not that this excuses any of my actions. I don't remember when I started hitting her. I remember once we were in her dad's apartment, fighting, of course, and she was on the floor and I was kicking her sides. I remember once we were driving, fighting, of course, and we pulled into a police station because I had punched her in the face and she was just done. I started hitting her in the police parking lot. I remember once we were driving, fighting, of course, and I fornicating, put a lit cigarette on her face. Her face. Just absolutely disgusting and shameful. Eventually all of our fights ended in the same thing. We would say horrible things to each other. I would get physical. We would forget about it and try to find a way to come up with a story to cover it up. Truly fornicated shiz. A few months of this goes by. She would have marks on her face and arms and lie to her fornicating family and coworkers about where they came from. Absolutely fornicated up shiz. I was still working at the same damn fast food chain, and she eventually had a nice little office job with benefits and good pay. I was 19, and she was 20 at this time. I still didn't have a car. She was absolutely convinced I would get better, and I was too. I just needed to be consistent with medication and therapy. We just needed time apart. We just needed couples therapy. We just needed something to end this horrible cycle. We loved each other. We really did. The way she treated me, forgave me time and time again. She loved me so much. Too bad love wasn't enough for me to get my fornicating shiz together and treat her right. That haunts me every day. That someone loved me so much and I couldn't do right by them. It all came to a boil one day when we were driving somewhere. We got in another fight and I threw her car into park again. She told me this was it. She's done. She can't do this anymore. It's been months. Why aren't I getting better? Why am I still like this? I agreed with her. I told her she was right. This was it. We needed to be done. She dropped me off at home, and a couple weeks later I came by and picked up all my stuff. We kissed each other goodbye. After this, our mutual friend split into who was my friend and who was her friend. The ones who are her friends removed me off all social media. She blocked me on everything. Now, because I was still horribly toxic, I created fake phone numbers to message her, mostly telling her how much I love her and how sorry I was. She didn't want to hear it. I don't blame her. It has now been almost a year since we broke up. Thankfully I have a better job and a car. I have remained single the entire time. She has a boyfriend, to the extent of my knowledge, and I really hope he treats her better than I did. I have no idea the extent of what I've done to her. As much pain and shame as I feel, I can only imagine what she feels. A few people know of the wrongdoings that went on during our relationship, but this is the first time I'm really telling the full story, albeit anonymously. If you're out there, if you're reading this, I'm so sorry. I'm so fornicating sorry. I wish there was something I could do to take it all back, but I can't. I love you, I will always love you, and I will always regret fornicating everything up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to smash that cowbell if you want to get notified when the daily upload drops. At this point it doesn't even hurt me on the inside to say that in my videos anymore. Now I'm just numb to it. You happy YouTube? Your subscribe button not actually doing what its sole purpose was back when it first showed up here is making me dead inside, and yet you require people to subscribe to us for us to have any success on the platform. It would be nice to not be reminded every time I see that bell that someone with the IQ of a toaster must be making decisions over there, or at least was back when the bell became a thing. Okay, that went a little off the rails. Anyway, as always, have a wonderful day.